Okay, good morning, students. How are you today? You good? Are you sure? Alright, thank you. Okay, today we will start our study today. So before that, I will ask you one by one. Are you ready? Alright, thank you.
Ready.
Anybody know what is a narrative text? Raise your hand, please. Anybody know? Okay, Romantir, stand up, please. Right, please. Alright, thank you, Romantir. So today we have materials about narrative text. So guys, this narrative text we can also learn about introduction of narrative text. The first is definition of narrative text, and the second is types and characteristics of narrative text, and generic structure of narrative text. So look at this. Okay, students, this is narrative text. So in the narrative text we can also learn introduction of narrative text. It is the first is definition of narrative text, and types and characteristics of narrative text, and generic structure of narrative text. Okay, we can see narrative text. Narrative text is a type of text that tells a story that has a series of chronological events that are interconnected. The purpose of this text is to entertain the reader about a story. Okay, do you understand about narrative text? Alright, thank you. We also can see, okay, this is types of narrative text. In type of narrative text, there are fairy tale, my story, science fiction, romance, horror, fable, myth and legend, and history. So it is example from the story. Alright, so I think all of you know what is fairy tale story, and my story, and science fiction story, and romance story, horror story, fable story, myth and legend story, and history story. Okay, students, in narrative text we also learn about the characteristics of narrative text. So in the characteristic of narrative text there are 5 points. The first is noun, past tense, time connective, and action verbs, and saying and thinking verb. So let's see the first. The first is noun. Nouns are generally used for pronouns of people, animals, or objects. Are you understand? Alright. And the next, past tense. Past tense is narrative text use past verb or use verb to. Are you understand? Alright. And next, time connective. Time connective is a time relationship word to short event in the story. Get the point? Alright. And next, action verbs. Action verbs is verbs that indicate events or activities. For example, stayed, climbed, and rode. Get the point? Alright. And then saying and thinking verb. Saying and thinking verb is verbs that indicate reporting or utterance. For example, said, told, and talk. Okay, for this, any question? Right. Look at this. Okay, students. In narrative text, we also learn generic structure of narrative text. In the generic structure of narrative text, there are 4 points. The first is orientation, complication, resolution, and reorientation. Okay, look the first. The first is orientation. Orientation is introduction or opening that is paid for the introduction of characteristics, time, and place. Get the point? Right. And next, complication. Complication is conflict, development, or problem arising in a story. Get the point? Right. And next, resolution. Resolution is conflict resolution or steps taken to respond or deal with a problem. Okay, get a point? Alright. And the last, reorientation. Reorientation is closing remarks from a story. Can also contain lessons or moral message in narrative text. Okay, any question of our material in narrative text? Any question? Raise your hand, please. Alright. So, thank you for your coming today, and see you next week.